Good morning and welcome to Morning Java, brought to you as always at Get Go Cafe and Market, where right now, Dale, they've still got that great fish sandwich, the Captain.
Yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a great fish sandwich, quick, that's the place to go.
Boom shakalaka. Let's talk. It's almost time for the NFL draft. We're still about a week and a half away. It's the end of next week, but it's never too early to really start diving in. Dale, you did a piece. Listen,
I am
you've
fully
been diving.
submerged.
Oh man, we're both of us. Okay, we've been here for a long time. We're just getting you to where we are. You wrote last week about tight ends. And you brought in some good points about how the Steelers do need other offensive weapons, while everyone's been thinking wide receiver, running back. Tight end is another position with Jesse James gone that they could plug someone next to Vance McDonald and be a threat. There's some obvious names out there, but who are the guys that are sticking out to you?
Well, obviously, if T.J. Hawkinson would happen to fall to the 20th pick in the draft, which I don't think will happen, you could see the Steelers take a tight end in the first round. But that's the only way I see the Steelers taking a tight end in the first round. I see some mock drafts out there with people mocking, like Noah Fant, for example, to the Steelers.
See him getting past.
And I just don't. I don't know that he's a first round talent. I think the more that you look at him, I think athletically he's a first round talent.
Right.
I think when you watch him on film, though, it doesn't scream first round guy to me. There's a lot of drops.
Yeah, he is inconsistent.
He's not a great blocker. So you're getting a guy who's not a finished product. I think, when you're taking a tight end in the first round, he better be pretty damn good. Because if you look at the guys that, for example, Hawkinson is compared to, you're looking at Zach Ertz and Rob Gronkowski and guys of that nature. None of those guys were first round picks.
Very good point.
So I think if you're going to take a tight end in the first round, he better be really, really good and be able to be a plug and play player. And if with the Steelers looking for a number 2 tight end, that just doesn't make sense unless it's Hawkinson.
That's me. Even beyond the number 2 tight end. Tight end is a position in general. It has to be a really special player to go get.
Really special.
And I'm just not that big on the position.
Yeah.
So Dale, those are the top guys. But as we said, we shouldn't expect the Steelers to really get a tight end in the first round. They have a lot of glaring needs that could be addressed. They have a starter in Vance McDonald. Let's talk about tight ends later in the draft and where those moves could be made.
Yeah, I think if I'm the Steelers, I'm looking at taking a tight end. I'm looking at maybe that last third-round pick, and then after that, so 4th round, 5th round, somewhere in that range. And this is a really deep tight end class, so that would be where I would look at. You're looking at maybe a Josh Oliver from San Jose State. You're looking at Foster Moreau from LSU. Those are a couple of middle-round guys, maybe a Jay Sternberger if he happens to slip that far. And a guy that I like, who really fits the Steelers' mold, if you're looking for even later than that, is Wesco from West Virginia, who is probably he very well may be the best pure blocking tight end in this draft. He didn't get used a lot in the passing game at West Virginia, but they lined him up at fullback, they lined him up at tight end, inline tight end, all over the place as an extra blocker. And if you're looking at Vance McDonald as your receiving tight end, you need somebody there to do a lot of the blocking so you don't have to tie him up to do that.
And that would allow the Steelers to come out with more 12 personnel packages and diversify how they use it. It won't just be simple at double tight end. Now you can start off with that, rotate him in the backfield. Now he's your lead blocker for James Conner, and you're making people guess. I like that idea. I'm on the Foster Moreau train. Just
I like him a lot.
Get me going. If you can get him, especially. And the thing is, they got 3 picks in the 3rd and 4th rounds. If you could get him with that 4th round pick, I consider that a huge win, because now you don't need him to jump into it right away. All he has to do is beat out Xavier Grimble. Beat Xavier Grimble, and you'll be fine.
Yeah,
and I think you've won.
He was a guy going into the combine. I looked at and said, well, he's a really good run blocker. I don't know how he'll test athletically. And then he goes out in the combine and tests really well athletically. And you're like, okay, this guy went from being maybe a 5th or 6th round prospect to being a guy, because he didn't catch a lot of passes at LSU. They just didn't throw the ball a lot, to being a guy that you look at as at 3rd and 4th round type guy.
So Dale, I wrote about cornerbacks last week, because everybody knows the Steelers and cornerbacks in the draft haven't mixed for quite some time to get the stars that they need on defense. But this is an interesting draft, because everyone's talking about inside linebacker and edge rushers and this, but there's some cornerbacks that could be available in the 1st round and maybe even a little bit later that at least would draw your interest. Who do you have? I'll bring up who I got later, but who do you have that the Steelers should be looking at as the top cornerback if everything else is gone in the 1st round?
Well, for me, Byron Murphy's the number 1 cornerback in this draft. I think if you look at him athletically with what he can do, I know he didn't run real fast at the combine. he's a 4.55 guy.
Yeah, okay.
Joe Hayden's a 4.57 guy.
Exactly.
That's fine. Now, he doesn't have the long arms like Hayden, but he has great instincts. He's fantastic in zone coverage. I think he can play man if you ask him to do that.
He mirrors feet very well.
Yeah, and I think he's the top guy. I know everybody's Greedy Williams, and he's tall and he's fast.
He's the prototype.
But he won't tackle.
Yeah, he doesn't. When you see him tackle, he puts his head down, he goes for the ankle.
Yeah.
But Byron Murphy, he lights people up.
And he also fits the Steelers what they like to do in the first round. If you look at him, he just turned 21.
Yeah. Super young.
So you're getting a guy that maybe you can get 2 contracts on before he turns 30. They like to do that.
Yeah, that works really well for their scheme. I like Byron Murphy because of the instincts, like you said. But one thing he does that compares to Hayden is he doesn't need to press you with his hands. Oftentimes, he will let you come off clean, but he will just stick in your hip pocket so well. And then when the ball's in the air, he finds it much better than I think than Greedy Williams does. Greedy has he'll eventually get to it, but a lot of his interceptions were bad throws, underthrown passes, and things that were easier catches. I saw Byron Murphy make some contested point of attack, high pointing interceptions. That's the guy that I have. If I had the 20th pick and everyone else is gone and I need a cornerback, Byron Murphy's my guy.
The crazy thing about it this year is as well, we've seen previous years where the Steelers would be picking at, say, 15, 18, somewhere in there, and needing a cornerback, and 5 of them would go before they pick. Whew. This year, they could get an opportunity to have their pick of any of the cornerbacks.
Yep.